Welcome back to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, where Stroll, Latifi and Villeneuve, both Jacques and Gilles, are the 4 Canadian point scorers in the past. Who's going to come out on top today at this favourite of the F1 calendar? It's the Canadian Grand Prix. It's a tricky circuit to tackle in wet conditions, with top speed still of critical importance down the long back straight. There are 2.7 miles and 14 corners overall on this circuit that in the dry can see average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour. We'll be lucky to get anywhere near that today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Oscar Piastri and Antonelli, Norris, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso and Isaac Hadjar, Sainz, Lawson, Lance Stroll and Albon, Behrman, Bortoletto, Nico Hülkenberg and Esteban Ocon, Gasly and Jack Doohan rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me for the first time this season here in the commentary box, Naomi Schiff. Hello, Gnomes. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. What a track this is. And what a challenge for the drivers this weekend. Long straights, heavy braking zones, and a very green surface to start with.
This happens to be one of the drivers' favourites. It is a low downforce circuit that is fast and flowing, but it is also demanding on the brakes. And be careful, because let's not forget the wall of champions that catches out so many.
Lewis Hamilton takes the checkered flag and once again wins.
And it's one thing to win, but to win like that in total dominant style, that was a fantastic drive, and it is not one that we see very often.
It's time to bring out the bubbly and spray it around. It's our podium celebrations. It's a familiar sight in Formula One, and here it is once again. Lewis Hamilton with the trophy held high, celebrating a masterful victory.